Hey, how's it going? I'm back. Had to take a few days off after 14 days of daily journal videos. I took a moment to reflect and decided that the daily videos were not doing much for me and my art. They were helping me get more comfortable with YouTube, which is important too, because that is something that I want to establish is, a presence on YouTube, a way to connect, a way to share, but not daily. So I took a little bit of time, spent a minute getting some art mojo back, and went to flea market. Well, two flea markets. I went flea market shopping with a friend and got kind of an epic haul. I'm not going to show everything, and that's largely because I decided to do this after I'd put stuff away. I like to put stuff away as soon as possible and get things organized. So that's just, I'm not good at just leaving stuff in a pile when I get home. So I did not dig absolutely everything back out, but I did want to go through the haul and some of the primary parts. So not everything in this little drawer of lace came from that haul, but a lot of it did. It got this little bundle of lace and trim, which is just wonderful because a lot of times when you're doing journaling and making art pieces, you just need a little bit. You really don't need yards and yards. So it's kind of nice to get a big variety at once in these small little bundles when you can find them. So I really enjoyed getting that little bundle. I got this yellow lace. I just I don't normally resonate with yellow, but I liked it. I like the sort of light frilliness of it more than I would have expected. This is my favorite lace of the day. I paid too much for it. I think I paid $5. It's more than a yard. I think it's close to 2 yards because it's really small, but there's just something about it that really, I couldn't say no. So, I had to get that little piece. And then also in the little lace bundle, the bundle was wrapped in this little ribbon. So I kept the ribbon. There's this little bit of ribbon. These doilies came from a different place. But you just see even more little bits and bobs of lace. So the really, really small ones I put in this little jar, which are nice. I got this sweet little rose. So I like having things in clear containers where I can easily see them because I forget things that are not immediately in front of me, especially little journaling extras that are small and that maybe I don't use every single day. So this clear drawer and that clear little jar keep them more top of mind for me so that I don't forget to use them. All right. I got books. I got a lot of books. I actually just realized I forgot 2 more books. Okay. Oop, knocking stuff over. Sorry for the noise. Okay. So, I love birds, and I love using birds in junk journaling and in art journaling. And I just started Fodder School 5, and there's a project where these little bird images will be perfect to use. And these are some of the books that the instructor even mentioned, I think. And I'd been looking at them on Thrift Books, and I got them both for less than I would have paid for one on Thrift Books. So I couldn't pass them up. So these birds will keep me in bird images forever. Whew. This for me was a major coup. one of the things I've been getting really into, and this theme is going to come up again in this haul, is I really enjoy old cookbooks, recipe cards. Handwritten recipes are big for me. And I've been already thinking about making some food and recipe themed journals. And I love a binder, because if you have a book that's a binder, it's easy to get those pages in and out. So it's easy repurposing. I find the whole concept of the bride's guide to creative cooking to just be silly. The colors are absolutely outrageous. I love it. I took the pages out already because I've been trying to flatten them. There were a few that had gotten curled and folded. That's the drawback to the binder. But you can just see, one thing I didn't realize when I got it, each of the tab dividers is a little pocket. So appetizers, and then you've got this wonderful little pocket. I mean, there's just, you know, cold hors d'oeuvres, olive and onion, herring on picks. Where was the one? There was one I saw. Yeah, bologna triangles. Sandwich 3 slices of bologna or any other round cold cut using spicy cream cheese filling or finely chopped hard cooked egg mixed with mayonnaise and pickle. Wrap in waxed paper and chill. Cut into pie-shaped wedges. Secure each wedge with a pick. And if you like, spear a pickled onion on the end of the pick. Like, just this, obviously I was not an adult at the time that these recipes would have been popular. And that is part of the entertainment value. Not to poke any fun, but I will say bologna triangles do not sound particularly tasty to me. So like this, just the papers even are not as shiny as a cookbook pages normally are. They're not entirely matte, but they're definitely much easier to work with as far as paper goes for art projects and journaling. So I am really excited about this. Books. The Sign of the Twisted Candles. That's right. It is an old Nancy Drew mystery. I was obsessed with these as a child. I read them, I reread them. I love mystery novels in general. I like the book paper. I like the cover. It's the pages are getting a little loose, like the spine of this book block itself, not the greatest, but this will make a great repurposed cover for a journal. Just So Stories, Rudyard Kipling. Again, it's not as easy to see this journal or this cover. It's not in the same shape, but it's got some like safari animals, camel, giraffe. I'm not even sure what some of those are. I mean, just look at this inside paper. Delicious. So great. Handwriting. 5 yellow, 10 dark green, 5 dark blue. No idea. 5 yellow, blue, white thread. White thread. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. But I love the handwritten notes. This is 1912, copyright 1912. There's a library embossing on this page. And then all of these lovely stories, big text, like just really love everything about that. A new German dictionary. I love dictionary pages. I love when things are in other languages. I love that I don't have a complete mystery about the language. I will admit there's a part of me when I like see people using a lot of book pages in other languages that they know they don't speak. I wonder a little bit like, are you going to regret what that says if someone who does speak that language sees it? And in this way, I have the ability. It's a German to English dictionary, so I can actually read it, which is really cool. So I thought that this was just a good pickup in general. I love working with dictionary pages. Can't have enough. Going along with the cookbook theme, I found Cooks, Gluttons, and Gourmets, A History of Cookery. And I just thought, like, ooh, calf's brain. Okay. Yeah, in boned stuffed capon. So these pages are fully matte, which is one of the things I liked about them. And there's some... Oh, that's not the greatest image. We will probably not want that. Oh, that's a great image, though. This guacamole recipe uses Tabasco sauce. That's interesting. Serve as sauce with shrimp or lobster, or as a dip with corn chips. Okay. I love these kinds of things. So it's fun to look through and see, again, older recipes that have fallen out of fashion, for whatever reason. 1962. But that one was interesting to me. Betty Crocker's Cooking Calendar, a year-round guide to meal planning. This one, these are the kind, I love the images and stuff that they use. I mean, just like letters, numbers, in these fun colors, illustrations. I love, 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 love. Cannot get enough of it. Yeah. So this one made me really happy as well. Oh, I like, they even tell you what to buy in various seasons. So it's November. Potatoes and apples, guys, in case you were wondering. I mean, I imagine that that's very American-centric. So if you're in another part of the world, probably not going to apply to you the same way. This one, oh, we didn't get all of the label off. So the label for this one just said fruit book. I didn't even realize that that's what was on the cover. I have been looking at the spine first, Common Sense in the Household. I think you can tell at this point I enjoy these kinds of topics from days gone by. I think it's very interesting. So I love the fruit on the cover. It just was not what I was originally paying attention to when I picked it up. This interior paper is in fabulous condition. The whole book is in fabulous condition, honestly. And when I take it apart, I will need to be very careful. 1985, it's not even that old. I've just realized that I've dated myself. I was 4 when this came out, so those of you who think 1985 was a long time ago, yes, I am older than you. But yeah, Common Sense about venison, haunch of venison, venison steaks, like just a very thick book of information and recipes that I thought was particularly fun and fascinating. I like the paper. I think it'll be a nice paper to work with. It's nice and thick. So that was a fun pickup. We're almost to the end of the books. This one I'm really excited about. I have not had habitually been one of those people who uses a lot of words in my art and journals, but that has recently been changing. I've been more interested in including them the more that I embrace art journaling. I do not really enjoy, opening books and cutting out teeny tiny words to reformulate things. nor do I particularly enjoy going and looking up quotes. I'm still not like a big fan of writing down a bunch of quotes. But then this book, that's all this is just famous quotations. So I can go through here and cut out a chunk of text that I find interesting that I would then use in art, journals, etc. And that was really interesting to me. It's just pages and pages and pages. So this book, I think, is going to be a lot of fun to use. All right, we're done with books. We're not yet done with paper. This is a piano roll from back in the day, the pianos that would like play automatically. This is I'm Always Chasing Rainbows, a foxtrot from Oh Look, copyrighted 1918. And it's on this wonderful little roll. And it's this old paper and these, you know, tick markings that would generate the, you know, tell it what music to play, what note to hit, essentially. And I just thought, well, this will be a lot of fun to play with. So I picked that up. So nice. And I like the little box too. It's interesting and be great to repurpose. I just need to, it needs a little shoring up. But yeah, it's really cool. And I got some photos, and I don't often get photos for a couple of reasons. One, I just like words have typically not used a ton of pictures of other people in my work. They focused less in the past on human form. I have been doing a lot more portraiture and other things like that lately, and I think that may be part of the reason I've taken more interest. The other is price. Most of the time when I find photos in flea markets and stuff around here, they're priced what I think is fairly high. And most of the time I see a single photo going for a few dollars. And so if you want several, I really quickly rack up a big bill. These photos that I went through were anywhere from 25 cents to 50 cents. I did spend a whole dollar on on the large one. So this is just a lovely sepia toned photograph of two older people that I thought was really cute. And I just love the color. This is a photo postcard. So I mean, there's a stain on it, which actually adds even more interest because you have the, like, on the bottom, the white, and up here, the aged portion, and the look on that child's face is priceless. I love it. This one, I actually got, I mean, I like the family. They're also really interesting to me, but I really like the texture. This is printed on some sort of paper stock, and it's got this like linen texture kind of. And I thought that was really interesting. And then this lady just spoke to me, and I thought, I don't know what we'll do with her yet, but she's coming home with me. So I paid a whole dollar for her, and I just love her. All right. So that's it with paper. Oh, kind of. This is obviously not paper, but it did have within it these little cards. So you see these old give or take card. Easy Money. Easy Money apparently was a competitor with Monopoly back in the early days. And so, yeah, there's a ton of this like really old paper game money and cards telling you to take certain actions. And I thought that was awesome. And there were also some associated game pieces. I moved them to this old tin. They were in a little box in here. Just a lot of like little wooden houses, which I think there's also some actual like Monopoly house and hotels. I think these little houses may have been the original house or hotel game pieces from the Easy. I need to look up more about Easy Money and see if that's correct. So there's like some of that in there, and then occasionally little, oh, I think, is that the stopper for this? No. Yeah, so just some game pieces, which would be really fun to use in a project of some kind down the road. And so those Easy Money cards and those pieces were all in this tin. This tin was actually a lot grungier when I got it. I noticed a butterfly on it, and it was like tucked away under something. I almost didn't see it. And I noticed a little butterfly, so I pulled it out, and then I saw the game pieces inside, and so it was kind of felt like a 2-for-1 win there. For what it's worth, I love the tin. I love the grunge on it. I did, again, clean off a lot of it so you can actually see the pictures much better now. It's an art style chocolates box from the 1920s, I think. A little brass tin. And I've been putting collage papers that I'm like actively using, have been in here since I got it. All right, we're almost there. I think I already mentioned at some point that I started Fodder School 5. I'll put a link to it in the description just so that so I don't try too hard to describe what it is and make a mess of it. But basically, if you're a mixed media artist or interested in that, you know, and art journaling and making interesting and I think somewhat unusual art craft projects, you should definitely check it out. So the projects that we do come out monthly, and I am lucky that Wendy, the person who put it all together, has folks whose projects have hard to find items, list those items in, or talk about those items in advance so that people have time to go out and find things that they can use. So one of them suggested, I think Wendy herself is the one whose project requires, I mean, it doesn't require, you can do whatever you want. But the project is meant to use an old, a recipe box of some kind. I normally, when I go out to a flea market or thrifting or something, and I have certain things I'm looking for, I feel like I don't find them. I find more stuff when I'm not looking. But this last time at the flea markets was an exception to that. I found many recipe boxes, like 8 or 9. And usually I find maybe one. And so I ended up getting multiples. I actually have a third one that I forgot to pull down. My owl box. I mean, look at these. I love a bird. I told you I love a bird. I don't know if this is strictly meant to be a recipe box, but look at that little tray in it. It's so cute. And I think these are meant to hold a handle, so I may try and find a way to put a new handle on it. Maybe it was meant to be a lunchbox. Anyway, probably thinking right now that I might use this one for the project, but I got these other ones because, again, I've been really interested in doing some food or recipe themed junk journaling, and I wanted actually to put some, to use recipe boxes for a couple of those, where it's like a junk journal in a recipe box, and it can be maybe both a junk journal, but also actual recipe cards someone can use, but not just cards, more interactive elements, more like you would find in a traditional junk journal, highly decorated, that kind of thing. So I picked up more than one because I plan to use them in that way. So that was for one of the projects. Another project, this is actually the first one we're doing, or I'm doing, and it is meant to be a sort of Rolodex. And so they recommended getting some sort of tray or box with an open top. And I grabbed this drawer. It was like a very deep maroon color. I've been painting over it. And then we'll put some dowels in the bottom and then create art cards that slide around on it. I just think that's so neat. So I found a tray I could use for that project. And then the other thing that I thought was going to take some time to find, I also got a win on. Kinda. For that project, we're supposed to, or the instructor is using a small little box that held silverware. But I'm used to, when I see any sort of silverware box for like a really nice silverware set or something, it's a big box with a full set. I don't typically see, when I'm out, thrifting and browsing, I don't see a small box with maybe just like a set of spoons or something like that. And this instructor did. She's from the UK, I think. And so I can't tell so far, like, I don't know if it's just where I am in the US or in the US in general, if they're not as popular, or if I'm not looking, it's one day of thrifting, but I don't recall ever seeing these, around. So, she said, well, if you can't find those, maybe a cigarette box or something, a cigar box, excuse me. I wasn't loving any of the cigar boxes I found. And then I found this jewelry box. And I don't know yet if it's going to work for the project itself. But it was just so lovely. And I got so inspired to use it in some of the ways that I've already been talking about with these other sort of boxes around me, that I just picked it up and said, I'm going to try. If it doesn't work for that, I have other ideas in my head already of how I'd like to use it. Or maybe it'll fit that Fodder School project perfectly. I don't know. I just know it's so pretty and I really like it. We got a little bit of the bottom falling off here. That's fine. That's just some like cardboard that I don't think it needs and I can easily replace. Anyway, it makes me happy. It makes me smile. So that was my thrift haul for this latest time. And I hope you found it interesting. If you have questions at all about any of the stuff I shared, or comments about what I found, or if you constantly see those tiny silverware boxes, and you want to tell me where you see them, I would be really curious to know. So thanks for joining me. And I'll see you again soon.